It's time once again for the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us with Heidi Nelson. She is the City Administrator for the City of Maple Grove. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
We have a long meeting to talk about. We're going to do it less than about 3 hours, which was what it was on April 16th. So we'll get to the major item in just a minute, but there was one item on the consent agenda that we have to spend a little bit of time on. Dick Edwards, who many people know in the city for a long time, has decided to retire. Give us a little background on Dick.
Yeah, so Dick's last day with the city will be May 31st. I think he hit his rule of 90 here this spring in terms of his service to the city and years of employment and whatnot. So he is looking forward to getting on to his next chapter, and the last couple of years, of course, have been filled with the comp plan work, getting that comp plan done. So I think this is kind of his last gift to the city, is delivering that comp plan here. Goes before the Planning Commission end of April, City Council early May, and then we'll have a celebration for Dick celebrating his service to the city here coming up at, towards the end of May. So a lot of nice comments by the City Council recognizing his ongoing his long-standing service and really his involvement with kind of, you know, all aspects of the growth and development of Maple Grove. So much to be proud of, and he leaves a wonderful legacy here for whoever carries on after him. So we're happy for his service, and we really wish him all the best in his next chapter.
You bet. Well, congratulations to Dick.
Yep.
Moving on to special business at the meeting, there was a discussion about a former dry cleaning site that I'm sure many people probably know off of Weaver Lake Road by the Cub Foods. Give us a little history there. What is this site and what is now being worked on to clean it up? Yeah,
so this was a site that was home to a former dry cleaners that actually did some of the processing on site. So that's where some of the environmental issues come from. It has been, they had done some environmental review, and so there's a bit of cleanup work that needs to occur prior to redevelopment of that site. The developer is looking at doing kind of a small multi-tenant building there, kind of a coffee cafe and a bank in a multi-tenant building. They had come to us and asked for resolutions of support. They're going to be applying to both the Metropolitan Council tax-based revitalization account and then the Hennepin County Environmental Response Fund. So two funding sources that are available out there to private sector and public sector folks in terms of providing cleanup for sites there. Not a tremendous amount, about $100,000, so not a huge ask, but certainly we'd love to see that site be put back to good use, and so support was provided for these grant programs.
And what are they thinking as far as the timing for that?
Yeah, so this announcement, the due date here is coming up in May. They should know by kind of mid to late summer, I think, what the awards, what the awards are that are coming out of there. I suppose they'd love to get going yet this construction season, so we'll wait to see kind of how that process works for them, and then what the fall brings.
Good. Biggest item of the evening was under community development, and this is the Kristofferson Addition. And again, this has been something I understand has been working through the Planning Commission and now came to the Council, and it's not a new issue to the city, it sounds like. So this is one that we really need a little history. Take us back a little bit on what this all involves and some of the discussion at the meeting.
Sure. So this is a property that's situated just kind of south of Bass Lake Road and then west of the Nottingham Parkway area off of 70th there. So kind of sits, there's a cemetery, old cemetery there right along Bass Lake Road. Many will recall that when Bass Lake Road, the project came through, some of the access points that were along Bass Lake Road for some of these properties were removed. So basically kind of there on that north side of that cemetery, there's a pretty significant retaining wall there today. So this property owner and the property owner directly to his south used to gain their access off of Bass Lake Road. When that project came through, then their access was changed through kind of that neighborhood to the east there along 70th. So this is one of the property owners there. There's been a number of different development proposals that have been that have come forward over the history, a lot of history. Peter Vickerman worked on this case and outlined kind of the history of different applications that have come forward. So a lot of history here. Couple issues that come down. So this is just the one property that's kind of on the north side there of the two properties. There's some access issues. Public right-of-way would need to be extended from the 70th Street alignment there into the project. Today there's kind of just like two easements that provide each of those property owners access for their own use, for their individual residents. So public right-of-way needs to be platted, not only for the extension of the city street, but also for the extension of utilities into and through that area. So that's been one of the challenges, is getting that kind of that right-of-way situated, working between the two property owners. And then kind of maybe another aspect of this project that makes it a little bit more complex is there's some forest preservation land just to the west of these properties, right, kind of in that Elm Creek Basin there.
Right.
And so over the years, some of the land was acquired by the city from the property owner there. And so through this project, there was at one point some thought about swapping some of that land, getting a different forested piece and allowing another piece to be combined with the development. That piece has kind of gone away. The swap piece has gone away, and the development has been reconfigured to get out of kind of that forest preservation area. But I think the one issue that has been tough to solve is stormwater. And so currently the proposal stands where a kind of an underground pipe for the stormwater system would exit beyond kind of that forest preservation area into the Elm Creek Basin. Elm Creek Basin, of course, is an outlet for stormwater up and down the Elm Creek through Maple Grove. That's a natural conveyance of water through the city. And today, our stormwater systems are much more sophisticated than they were even 10 years ago. We do a lot to try to pull the sediment out of the water. We do infiltration, really try to make sure that what's being discharged into the system is of good quality, and that we're slowing, the rate of discharge, those kinds of things. A lot of things are done to address that. So Arbor Committee has expressed a lot of concern about this project. They were in attendance both at the Planning Commission and City Council about kind of those impacts to the forest preservation area. What was being proposed was that the storm sewer pipe would be sort of bored through underground to reduce some of those impacts to the trees. Clearly there would be, at some point, there would be impact to the trees because the pipe needs to daylight and whatnot. So this one got extended. We did not get to the point of making a decision. It'll probably come back in early June. A couple of things we were sent away to work on is looking at some alternatives for that stormwater solution. Could it go to the east into that existing development, those neighborhoods to the east? I think the challenge there is it's kind of, water wants to run downhill. And so if you want to force it uphill, you're talking lift stations, and we would need to do some enlarging to the size of the ponds to the east. And so there's some cost associated with those things. And so we're going to take a quick look at that and see if, are there any other alternatives we could consider from a stormwater perspective. And then the property owner was asked to kind of go back and take another look at that road access piece and how he might be able to secure that right away. So with that, this one will come back probably in early June. June 4th, we got an extension too. That we needed a little bit more than a couple weeks on that engineering side to look at those stormwater solutions. So we'll see this one come back again. But it is a very complex project with a lot of different issues at hand that we've been trying to work through. And so we'll kind of see where we get to here come June 4th.
And a number of staff people involved in the process too, so it's just not one department at the city, not just community development, but others have been speaking out. And just for the record too, it's for townhomes is what the proposed development. Is that correct? About 20
That's correct,
townhomes?
20 townhomes, yep. Currently the land in the last comprehensive plan process was zoned high density. So theoretically you could have an apartment complex there. Through this comp plan update, it's been basically downzoned to medium density. So really, it's that 4 to 10 units per acre type of designation. Really lends itself a little bit more to kind of a townhome type product. So could be lesser density than that as well. I think one of the proposals in the way passed was for some single-family homes to be located back in there. It is a beautiful piece of land back in there up against that Elm Creek Basin. So I think whatever goes there, it's a nice place place to be, but we'll just see kind of how we move through this in the coming weeks.
Very good. So
Yep.
a lot of discussion happened at the last meeting, and again, more will come in the future. We'll keep you up to date on that. Let's move ahead to some of the reports from staff, and Dick Edwards jumped back up to talk
Yep.
a little bit about development, tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about some business work and some restaurants that are interested in patios for some reason, right?
Hard to believe
Yeah,
right
with
now,
the snow,
but
but it'll come.
Yeah, so a couple different development proposals that'll be coming forward in the coming months to Planning Commission and Council. Wings Financial, this will be at the Village, Arbor Lakes, there, kind of the fourth corner, part of the Dorn project. Crave, they're under construction there on the corner, and they're already asking to add a little bit more space, so about another 640 square feet. That would be kind of on the west side of the building, kind of like an enclosed patio area
Okay.
is what they'd be looking to do. And then we've talked a little bit about the Brick and Bourbon project, which is the old Don Pablo's.
Right.
That one they're looking to do pretty expansive outdoor patio, outdoor seating area, so they need to come before the Planning Commission and Council for those changes. They are working on the interior remodel of that space, and so that's well underway. Their liquor license will be in front of the City Council on May 7th, so that one's got a number of pieces moving forward.
All right, we'll keep you up to date on those. Moving ahead to Public Works and Engineering, a few items touched on there, and one, believe it or not, rather ironically, was forest preservation. So after all that talk earlier about some of the land that's already there, the city is looking at potentially some other land, is that correct?
That's correct. So there are some funds that are still remaining from that forest preservation bond that was done back in the mid-90s. This was a piece that the city had looked at acquiring a couple different times in the past, and the family came back to the city and is kind of at a point where they're ready to do something, and so we were able to come to terms on a purchase agreement here. It's about 20 acres. It's again along that Elm Creek Basin, a little bit north of the site that we were just talking about there, the Kristofferson piece. This is owned by the Gottschalk family. It's a piece that's kind of surrounded by public land, so it's a 20-acre parcel that's just kind of in the middle of that, and there's some trail corridors on either side. So this was kind of a nice opportunity to just secure this piece. Purchase agreement was for $100,000 for that piece of land. So we were happy to be able to get that deal done and move forward, and so another piece for forest preservation.
Very good. You
Yeah.
mentioned trails. Let's talk a little more about trails. Ken had a little update on the Backlund property, which is working with the Rush Creek Trail. Tell us what that involves.
Yeah, so more kind of in the northwest corner of the city, been working with Three Rivers Park District on securing some properties for Rush Creek Trail alignment up there. So this one is going to get completed here in the coming months, coming weeks here, so you'll see more on that one as well.
All right, and the city gets involved with other agencies on a larger scale on a regular basis, and one of those is the DNR. Tell us about the work with the city and DNR.
Yeah, so this is somewhat related to the comp plan process, is that we're starting to see the various pieces of review of the comp plan come together. So we've gotten some feedback from a couple agencies on and very much related to the issue we were just talking about, this development proposal, is our surface water management plan. The city generally gets pretty high marks on how we manage surface water in the community. I talked a little bit about some of the best practices that we deploy in terms of managing stormwater in the community, and so all of those plans have now gotten updated for this new comp plan, and we're starting to see some of those comments and reviews come in. So we know it's getting close to getting that comp plan done.
Very good.
Yep.
And if you look at the date again, you know the meeting was held on April 16th,
Yep.
just the day after Maple Grove was a little picked on by the snow. What happened with the snow, and how did the city get rid of it, at least up to this point, and still work to be done?
Still work to be done. This was overwhelming. You know, it was just remarkable, and our crews worked a ton of hours over the weekend. And you know, we usually can get out and do one plow and it's over, or two.
Right.
This was ongoing efforts, and it's just hard to keep ahead of it.
Yeah.
And then in between all of that, there's some regulation about how many hours people can be out driving a plow truck, and so we need to pay attention to those things as well. I think one of our biggest challenges right now is some of the sidewalk and trail areas. Very heavy snow, very dense snow, and then it got colder. And even though it's been warmer now, it's still we're still getting down to the 20s overnight. So stuff is freezing down. So we've had some complaints and some concerns about getting those sidewalks and trails cleared. I know they're still working on it. Their first priority was trying to get in the areas around schools and whatnot.
Sure.
So, and at least get one, path opened up so that kids had a place to go. So we're still tackling that. I know as I was driving through town today, I saw our crews out on some of the sidewalks and trail areas. So that remains to be a bit of a challenge for us.
All right, well, hats off to the staff for all the hours they put in, and that is not a project that you want to have happen too often. So hopefully it'll be another, 30, 40 years till something like that happens again. A couple of your updates then. You have a management intern helping out.
Yes.
Give us a little background of that person who we might see around the government center.
Yeah, so Andrew McIntyre has joined us for several months here as a management intern. He comes to us undergraduate degree from St. Olaf, and then a master's degree in urban and regional planning from University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. So great planning background. In fact, we hope to be able to plug him in a little bit to help with some of the planning work, following Mr. Dick Edwards' retirement.
Right, sure.
We're going to need a little extra help as we move through that process. So happy to have him on board. He's also going to be doing some general kind of management projects up in my office, and so really happy to have him on board working on kind of strategic plan. We're going to be rolling out a new employee orientation program, those kinds of things, and so it's always great to have another set of hands around City Hall.
And as you mentioned at the meeting, he got a great first meeting to attend, right? That went about 3 hours long to really see how government works, which he did.
Yes.
Final note we want to make from the meeting on the 16th is strategic plan update. Tell us where we are with that.
Yeah, so the City Council, of course, met March 10th in a planning session. The minutes from that session, of course, were on this agenda, so the council had an opportunity to kind of review that. We've done a draft update to that goals document, and so we're going to start kind of fleshing that out with the detail behind that. Approval of that goals document will be on the May 7th agenda, and then we'll start tackling some of those items on that list over the next, really that 18 to 24 month period again. So.
And we'll have a chance to talk about those the next couple times we get together. So that's the update from the meeting on the 16th. Now let's bounce you around town and look at a few other things that are happening, and one that we hope happens would be water main flushing. This becomes a problem when there's snow on the ground.
Yeah, so we're just keep pushing it out.
Okay.
We got to get past the point where we're, clear to the curb line, and much of the melting has been done, and we're not even close yet. So I'm not sure I'm even going to say a date.
All right, but information when it does occur on the city's website, I'm sure, so people will be able to know when that is occurring. One thing we know is occurring is a blood drive. Tell us about that event coming up at the Government Center. Yeah,
Monday, April 23rd from 9 to noon. This is the Memorial Blood Center's community blood drive, and you can just go onto their website. If you just Google Memorial Blood Centers, it'll come up, and our sponsor code is 0610. So I just went on and booked an appointment. There's a few appointments left still later in the morning.
Good.
Yep.
Here's a couple annual events that come up in the city of Maple Grove every spring, or supposedly spring here. Tell us about the cleanup days and a few ways people can get involved.
So this is 2 options for residents to spruce up for spring cleaning. I think our goal is always that the snow is gone in your yard.
That's nice.
Can you see, so you can see everything that maybe needs to get out of there. I don't know if that's going to happen by Monday, April 30th. Let's hope. But curbside pickup services Monday, April 30th. This requires advance arrangement, and there's payment required for a number of the items. And then cleanup day, this is the drop-off day, Saturday, May 5th, and that's 8 to noon at the Public Works facility. And some of those items require payment as well. So encourage everybody, if you're thinking about getting involved with that, take a look at the website and kind of see what you're looking to get rid of and what is involved with that.
Great.
Yep.
Wonderful annual event. Here's something that kind of goes to what we talked about during the council part. There's a lot of beautiful trees in the city of Maple Grove, and you need some people to help out. How can we help? Yeah, so this is to become tree stewards and pruners. And we have free training that's provided in sessions in May and July, and those are at our Public Works facility. It includes training on planting, pruning, watering, and identifying tree diseases and pests. So like the emerald ash borer disease, so there's some training available for that. Marilyn Arnlin manages this process for the city. Her number 494-6091. You can also just give a call to City Hall and ask for Marilyn, and she'll get you the information about that. All right, quick jump ahead to the month of May, but now is the time to act. If you want to get involved, this is the Step to It Challenge. What are you encouraging the residents to do? So this is a Hennepin County program, Step to It Challenge. It's a free 4-week physical activity program during the month of May. You can
join on behalf of the Maple Grove community, so you can kind of be part of the broader Maple Grove initiative, your school, workplace, or any other group that you're involved with. Participants have a chance to win tickets to the Minnesota Twins and other prizes. And if you go to step2it.org, all the information is located there on their website.
All right. Fun way for cities to compete against each other, so get out there and get involved in that. All right, get your calendars out for the end of April. A couple things coming up that you'll want to know about for women, for markets, and also for Arbor Day. Give us a breakdown of those 3 events.
So it's All About You Women's Expo is at the Maple Grove Community Center this Saturday, April 21st. So coming up quick here. Attendees will find products and services to pamper themselves head to toe. And admission is free, and the show goes from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
All right, then coming up that Thursday at the same location, the market is back?
Yep, market's back for this Thursday. This is our 15th season that we're heading into here for outdoor market. Of course, we'll start June 7th.
Great.
So, but 15th season of the market. So until June 7th, monthly indoor markets are going strong with the next one, Thursday, April 26th.
Right.
Hours 3 to 7 now. We've extended that out to 7 o'clock. Some of the great, same great vendors, live music, and then of course all the shopper reward programs are available as well.
And we mentioned Arbor Day, and that is Saturday, April 28th in the city. Where does it happen? What goes on?
Another community center event.
Yes.
Saturday, April 28th, noon to 3. Arbor Committee's involved with putting on this event. It's kind of their show for the year. Lots of great fun and educational activities that day. A big draw, of course, is the U of M Raptor Center show. The Reptile and Amphibian Zoo is there. Lots of free prizes, and just a lot of educational, informational vendors there, talking about trees and landscape, all things yard. So if you're looking for something to do on Saturday, April 28th, it's a great event.
Yeah, very fun event. And while you're there looking at the things at the Arbor Day festivities, you might want to check out the community center and think about, would a membership be a good idea? And you say, yes, it would be.
I do.
And here's the right time to get that, right?
Yes, from May 1st to May 10th, you can get a 15% off community center membership. You can, couple of different options within that membership. You can get all building, pool, or pickleball membership, and then you receive an additional $10 discount when you sign up online through the website for that.
Good.
So nice time to get that membership up and get some discounts.
Yep, beginning part of May. Make sure you do that. Also in the beginning of May, an annual event in the city. It's the Angel of Hope Walk. Give us a background about that. Yeah,
so Angel of Hope, the volunteer group is hosting, the Friends of the Angel, I should say, is hosting the Walk to Remember on Saturday, May 5th. The remembrance ceremony begins at 10 a.m. at the Angel of Hope located at the Maple Grove Arboretum, and you'll recall that we did some improvements to that site in the last year. We have kind of an expanded space there up by the Angel of Hope, and some seating areas, and the trails are improved. Really nice up there. So if you haven't had a chance to visit, hopefully Saturday, May 5th will be a lovely day. It'll be a good opportunity to go out. 9400 Fernbrook Lane, and so they also will be celebrating kind of that expansion this year. The walk starts at 10:30 and proceeds around Rice Lake, and you can go to friendsoftheangel.org for more information about that one.
Great group in the community. Final note we want to make is an event that's coming up on Saturday, May 19th, and this is something that has moved around the Northwest area. Tell us about the Community Forum on Race. Yes,
so Community Forum on Race, this is the 5th annual event, Saturday, May 19th, 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. this year at the Maple Grove Community Center. There will be a keynote speaker. They're just kind of in the process of finalizing all of that, and then kind of facilitated conversation in the afternoon, just trying to address the issue of race in our community and provide people kind of a comfortable, safe space for those conversations. Light lunch is served during the day. There's no cost associated with this, but they do ask that you do sign up in advance so that they have a sense of numbers of people who are coming, and there's kind of an online way to do that. Information's available on our website, and certainly linked through our social media pages as well.
Very good. And let's get to that website here in just a second. Heidi, thanks again for the information.
You're welcome.
And let's look at the next meeting date as well as we look at this page. There you see that website, maplegrovemn.gov. As we mentioned, a lot going on in the city, a lot of information that you might need to jot down, so go to the website and find that. Next meeting is on Monday, May 7th, 7:30 at the Government Center. Phone number at the bottom of the screen, and our viewer response line, 763-533-1710, if you have questions or comments for the program. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.